Greetings, I bring to you a disclaimer for this video. It's longer than normal. It's probably less concise. It contains rambling and subjective views which are my own, held exclusively by me and do not need to be conformed to by you. However, this is intended for information purposes and a little bit of fun. So I hope you enjoy, or check out now and watch something better. I know I probably would. Cheers. Hi there. Today I thought I'd talk about some alternatives to the Montblanc 146 size of pen. I recently picked up a 146 at the London Pen Show, pre-owned, because I've been drifting towards that kind of size for an everyday writer, I suppose. I mean, I still use larger pens and whatnot, but I have found that size very comfortable for, you know, extended sessions and things like that. So I thought, let's take a look at a couple of alternatives which are different in their ways and different in price and bits of style and all of that jazz. Yes? Excellent. So here is the Montblanc 146, and I'm going to be comparing it to a Platinum President and a Pilot Custom 743. Ideally, I'd have had this in black, but I don't. I've got it in green. So what can you do, right? Should we take a little look at what we're going to be talking about? First things first, I've changed the lighting because I realised it was pants. So I'm going to talk about nib properties and nib options, filling systems, price, fit and finish, and then as an aside, colour choices and comfort. That's a bit more subjective to me, but I'll try and keep it as informative as possible. Right, so first of all, Bill here is holding the Montblanc 146, which I reviewed recently. I'll be honest, I'm not stupidly over impressed with it. It's fine, it's good. As I say, picked it up pre-owned. It's an elegant black pen. It has a 14 karat gold nib, very nice nib engraving, plastic feed, piston filler, ink window, classic pen, very elegant, very nice. Just nothing wrong with it, just didn't blow my mind, right? Then we've got, so the Pilot Custom 743, usually available in black. I think you can get it in burgundy as a kind of standard. This is the verdigris, US exclusive in green, which I happened to pick up on eBay one evening and has become one of my favourite pens. Oh, spoiler. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Again, 14 karat gold nib. This is cartridge converter filler. And then we have a Platinum President. Excuse me, my words aren't with me today. Again, it tends to come in black, or I have seen the burgundy as well. Incidentally, that's kind of the same for the Montblanc, barring special editions, where, you know, the Duet and whatever else special editions you can get on there. But the standard edition is generally black. Sometimes, as here, you can have silver or platinum trim. Usually comes in gold trim. You can also get burgundy on it as a standard, I think, but I'm not sure if that costs more or not. Anyway, Platinum President. So this time you got 18 karat gold nib, and again cartridge converter pen. So they're all what I would say mid-size pens, i.e. they're not oversized, they're not small, but you know, that's where we're coming from. So let's do a little bit of a comparison for size, and then I'll go into some of the things that I was talking about. So for a quick size comparison, first down here we've got the President, but then we've got the 146, then we've got the 743. So as you can see, the President's slightly shorter than the Montblanc, and then the Montblanc's slightly shorter than the 743. I would say these two are comparable for girth, with perhaps just a little bit slimmer on the 743. Up here we've got a Lamy Safari, just for comparison. Let's look at them uncapped. So here we have them uncapped. All gold nibs, with the Platinum President being 18 carat and the other two being 14 carat. How's the focus on that, by the way? Is it rubbish? Well, if it is, I'm sorry. I can't seem to do a lot about it. All number 6 size nibs. And as you can see, the size, or the length at least, tends to stay about the same with the Platinum. That's me. The Platinum, a bit shorter than the Montblanc, and then shorter again than the 743. Now they all post, so let's have a quick look at them posted. And the trend continues even here, although the Platinum does catch up to the Montblanc for length, but the Pilot just coming in still just a little bit more prominently. Again, while we're here, just a clip comparison, the Platinum and the Montblanc are pretty similar, just with a kind of added shape up here, if you can see that. I'll go into it in a second. You got the Montblanc there with a little protrusion there, and then the ball clip of the Pilot. It's not my favourite clip, that, to be honest, but you can't have everything, can you? Now let's have a little look at details. So I mentioned filling systems. Let's just have a little look at that. So the Montblanc is a piston filling pen. You've got a piston operating knob here. And then you've got, which you can't really see because it's inked up, although you can just about see a glisten through there, but you've got the slotted ink window, which I cannot focus on. But you know what I'm talking about, hopefully. It's there. Ink window to see your ink levels. So you've got a slightly higher capacity there. Haven't measured it, but typically you're looking at kind of 1.5 mil, which is double-ish to a cartridge converter. Speaking of cartridge converters, so Pilot 743 is a cartridge converter pen. It is a proprietary proprietary cartridge converter. So you comes with the Pilot Con 70, which is a push-button operated converter. Which is nice because you haven't got all the screwing, and you just go push, 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 and then it fills up. So it's almost vac-esque filling system. Slightly more awkward to clean than a normal cartridge converter. If you've got a syringe, you could stick it up there and flush that out. Otherwise, you do have to keep, I find, unless I'm doing something wrong, the converter in the section, and then push, 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 flush, flush, flush through the nib, rather than taking this out and doing that directly into a glass of water or something like that. Doesn't seem to create the desired vacuum effect and suck up the water properly, which is a bit of a pain if you like to clean your nib unit separately with like a ball syringe or something like that. But it is a nice weight on this converter, so it adds a little bit of heft to the pen, because you've got, you know, plastic barrel, but works well, and I do like that converter. It's certainly better than their Con 40, which is smaller and not very good in my opinion. Sorry, as I was saying, so proprietary cartridge converter will also take Pilot cartridges. Platinum, again, cartridge converter, and proprietary again, so we'll accept Platinum converter or Platinum cartridges. This is, although slightly different shape, your normal converter action, twisty twisty, inky inky, yeah. And as such, you can clean the converter out separately, sorry, wobble, which may be a little bit easier, especially if you want to flush through the nib unit. As I say, we'll also take Platinum cartridges. If I already said that, I do apologise. Personally, I'm a cartridge converter fan. I prefer a converter. I think it's just easier to clean for me. Pistons just bug me to clean. Nothing wrong with the filling system itself, and I get it, and it's handy. And I certainly wouldn't not buy a pen because it was a piston filler. But my kind of filling system of preference is a cartridge converter. So there's your filling systems. Let us talk about fit and finish. So the Montblanc, sorry it's a bit grubby. I seem to have grubby fingers today, a bit fingerprinty. So look, it is... I'm not trying to make fun, right? Just for once, I'm not trying to make fun. So it's their precious resin. I don't know the chemical properties of it, but it is a resin. It is a plastic, right? I'm not taking the mick just today. It is a plastic, so a high quality plastic. Yeah, precious resin, whatever you want to call it. It's a plastic pen. I'm not taking the mick, right? So, but it's a decent, it's a good quality plastic. It feels solid, and as you would expect, you know, your piston knob flushes up nicely there to your ring. You've got your cap threads. Sorry, dust, grease marks. You got your cap threads, which are not sharp, so you can hold anywhere along that. That's not too bad. Then a little flare out there, but look, it's put together nicely. You got a nib unit which is keyed, so you see the two keys there, so that it does need a little tool to remove it. I say needs, I mean you can grip that and unscrew it if you're careful, but you know, obviously if you want it serviced by Montblanc, then don't do that because they won't touch it after you've messed with it. Equally, the piston is keyed to a tool, so if you wanted to remove that, you know, same deal. But it's put together well. But then you would expect that for the price. Now I'll come to the pricing in a moment. But it's put together well. It feels quality in the hand. There's a bit of weight in the piston system. It feels substantial, you know. It's put together well, and as you would expect. Now, I know I'm rambling. I'm a rambly person. Deal with it. So, again, plastic pen, resin, not so precious, but all the same. Feels good quality. Obviously, with this being a cartridge converter, you can unscrew the barrel and kind of get a bit of a look. So it's not thin plastic. It's a decent thickness there. It's a good quality in the hand. It feels good. The section feels solid, not flimsy. Basically, is what I'm getting at. It's put together well. You've got the rear ring. No, I don't think we should call it the rear ring. This ring up here. So nicely flush. You got a little bit of just a bulge out, but that is by design. It's a bit of a shorter faux blind cap than the piston turning knob, but purely there for decoration. Section's good and it comes together well. This so you got metal section threads onto plastic, but they fit together very well and they tighten up nicely. And again, screw threads are not protruding onto my day. But yeah, again, put together nicely, and it does feel solid and substantial in the hand. Platinum President, again, plastic, not so precious. Put together well. All your rings and everything like that, they are embedded nicely and flush. I find them nice. Slightly bigger faux bind cap at the back here. Again, smooth across there to the touch. Slightly more, I'm not going to say sharp, but slightly more intrusive. That's a very harsh word, but slightly more intrusive cap threads. If you were gripping that there, I can feel that a bit more. Not sharp, but I can feel it a bit more. So there is that. Again, being cartridge converter, you can take the barrel off. Now, this is okay. This thickness and whatnot of plastic. I will say, it feels. I'm not sure if you get rattle. You do a little bit. There you go. You can get a little bit of rattle with the converter on the inside. Obviously, when you tap it, if you're sitting writing with it, you're okay. But you can get a little bit of rattle with the converter on the inside there. I will say the plastic is okay. It's hardly wafer thin. It's only wafer thin, sir. It's hardly wafer thin, but it does feel, and I'm going to be harsh again, a little bit more plasticky, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying it feels cheap, but it's a little bit more plasticky. I think there's a reason for that, and I'll come to that again in the price. Section's nice. Feels a bit more solid, perhaps, than the barrel. Just, I don't know. When you hear any sort of rattle, it makes you think of flimsy, I suppose, as I wobble my camera and stuff. But other than that, it's put together nicely. Like all your rings are flush and in the right place. It's just a little bit more pronounced cap threads, and it does feel a little bit more plasticky, if I'm honest. Now, following into that, let us go for the price. So, Montblanc. Having had a quick Google round, right, this is by no means a definitive list, but I'm here in the UK, so I had a little Google around. It appears, if I get this directly from Montblanc, through their UK website, whatever, excuse me, £650, right? If I went to Cult Pens, exactly the same. I think Montblanc lock in their prices to outlets, retailers, or for the most part, so that does make sense. And that is for your standard edition, and then you've got nib options of, excuse me, I wasn't going to do this together. Right, so the nib options of fine, medium, broad, double broad, oblique medium, and oblique broad. That is off the Montblanc website, £650. Now, being that is off the UK website, I presume that includes VAT, and certainly on Cult Pens it includes the VAT, so total. If you are in a non-VAT territory, you may pick that up a little bit cheaper, but I'm speaking for where I am. That's quite a lot. You can pick them up on the second-hand, pre-owned market cheaper than that, as I did. But we're going to talk brand new prices just for comparison. So £650. What are you getting for that? You're getting the gold nib, okay. You're getting a piston filler, okay. And joking aside, you're getting a plastic body, okay. Decent quality, but, you know, it's not some wonderful, indestructible material. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's a plastic pen, right? Very good plastic pen, but a plastic pen. I'm really not taking the mic. Right, £650. Right, so Pilot 743. Now, this is a bit of an annoying one. Excuse me a second. Sorry, had a frog in my throat. Needed to get rid of it. Right, Pilot Custom 743. Here in the UK, these haven't been readily available brand new until recently, and they've been released. Again, I'm going to use Cult Pens as an example, but I've had a little look and it's in the ballpark across the board, right? £425 new from Cult Pens, and as I say, there or thereabouts from UK retailers. At time of recording, winter 2024, they've not been long released. I'm talking a few months. Over here, I know that Pilot has certain licensing things and whatnot. I don't know the details of it, but, you know, I hear whispers and stuff because I don't deep dive too much because my brain does silly things. So the upshot being, it's cheaper from Japan. So, or indeed China. I did a little look for a representative price in the US, and the Goulet Pens website has these at $336. Obviously, that is without any VAT. If you're in a VAT domain, then you're going to have to pay the VAT, shipping, customs, etc. So it's going to work out comparable anyway in price, there or thereabouts, to the UK price. For me, if I was going to order one abroad, it'd probably even be more expensive. If you were to get from Japanese retailer, I can find them for £180 to £200, excluding VAT. So VAT is 21%, I believe, at the minute. It's gone up, isn't it? Used to be 15% when I was a boy. Unbelievable, man. Anyway, side point. Let's not get political. Now, yeah, so that's say 20% for argument's sake. So you're adding an extra £20 there. So all in, $220 shipping, a bit maybe, sometimes free shipping. So you're looking at about half price. You can get these from Japan or indeed China. If you go on AliExpress, they're about £200, excluding VAT again, so $220. Free shipping, about half price. Then you can get it from like UK Colt Pens or wherever else. I'm not singling out Colt Pens. It's just the one that I use. So again, plastic pen, cartridge converter this time, gold nib, etc, etc. Look, UK $425 is still cheaper than $650. You're not getting a piston. Is a piston worth £200? Is the extra resin quality worth the £200? Up to you, right? Me, I don't think that's... I wouldn't pay £425 for one of these. I love this pen. I wouldn't pay £425. I picked it up on eBay for $250, and I don't feel stiffed for that. Now, we'll come back to the pricing comparison, if you like, and what I feel is fair and what I would pay. The Platinum President, I'm not sure whether this is still manufactured by Platinum. I heard something or read something online a while back that it stopped production. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know in the comments if you know for sure. You can pick these up. So they did used to be on Colt Pens, and they don't seem to have it anymore. So that does make me think that it's perhaps been discontinued. You still pick them up around the place. So from Japan, in a ballpark of £120 to £150, again excluding the VAT. So you're adding £15 on top of that. So call it top whack £165 with VAT. Yeah, but you can get cheaper if you look around. For example, I picked this up for 110, brand new. I even want to say including shipping in that. And that was a good deal. Amazon UK, you can pick these up for 103. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you're laughing there. Again, that was a quick search at time of recording. Don't hold me to it. I don't know how many are in stock. I don't know, nib options, etc. Just quick price. Amazon UK quoted that. So, much cheaper, right? You're talking $650. I'm going to say UK prices, yeah? So $650, $425. Cheapest I found in the UK, near enough £100. Now, why the price differences? Well, we all know about the Montblanc branding, and this isn't a piss take video. So look, a lot of it, you're paying for the branding, you're paying for the executive look, you're paying for the status. It is good quality workmanship, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's worth that. Certainly not new. If you pick one up pre-owned, different story. I paid $250 for the Montblanc pre-owned. That's pretty fair, I mean, I'm going to say you get a gold nib in each of these. What's the gold nib worth? £100? Bit more? Bit less? Whatever. I don't know. Not price of gold person. But say it's worth £100 or thereabouts. So, £100 for the nib, £150 for the pen. Meh, okay. Right, new in the UK, 425. 100 quid for the nib, 325 for the pen? No. I don't look. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But just for an idea, the custom 823, which is the vac filler pilot on Colt pens, same website, 285. So I don't get that at all. I mean, it's personal preference whether you prefer a 743 or an 823. They're the same size, more or less. Hang on a second. Got one here somewhere. Here we go. So it's pretty much the same pen. It's just one's a vac filler and one's a cartridge converter. Obviously, one's transparent, blah, 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 blah. But it's pretty much the same pen. One's a vac, one's a cartridge converter, right? You would reckon that would be more expensive, didn't it? You would reckon. I would reckon. I don't know. Anyway, 285 new, 425 new. No, absolutely not. But if you go and get one from Japan or wherever, if you pick one up around about 200 to 250, I think that is decent. And I think it's a wonderful pen. I think it's well balanced. I think it's comfortable. And the nib's great. I haven't talked about nibs at all yet. This is going to be a longer one than usual, folks. Platinum. What a bargain. As I say, does feel, if I'm being hypercritical, a little bit more plasticky, and perhaps you would go, well, that's it doesn't stand up to the other two. I would agree, like with the the fit and finish points, and but if you get that for 100 quid, what did I say on Amazon? 103, 100 quid for the nib, 3 quid for the pen, right? You can't go wrong with that. And they're bloody good nibs too, Platinum. Yeah, it's I suppose the fit and finish and general build quality is not as good as the other two. It isn't, but it's a lot cheaper. So it's a very good alternative. If you want that elegant, gold nibbed classic pen, it's not going to fall apart. It's still put together okay. It's just, it's not quite comparable construction quality to the other two. For reference, a Platinum 3776, which is kind of the smaller brother, if you like, to the Platinum President, is £145 on Colt pens. I'll just leave that there. If you can find one, because it may be out of construction. If you can, pick one up, because they're good pens. Right, nib properties and etc. I'm going to need a drinks break. Hang on, I'll catch you in a sec. Back again. I know I didn't go anywhere for you, but there you go. Right, nib properties. Now, I'm going to use some paper, right? Why not? Let's write on it a little bit. So, I would say that they do have slightly different nib properties. So, if we were to start with the Montblanc, that's not going to work, is it? Let me change the camera angle. Sorry. This is what you get with professional technical marvel like me. Anyway, so your Montblanc nib properties. Well, it's smooth. That is the nib property. I reviewed this recently. I said it was a bit dry. That's for me. It writes, so I'm trying to keep the subjectiveness to a minimum. Obviously, this is about my personal taste, so, but you know what I mean? So 146 Le Grand, which is what it's called. So smooth and functional, and nib looks nice. That's basically the properties. Now, it kind of goes towards, is the Montblanc worth it? To me, the nib wants to be exquisite for that price. If you're buying new, right? And it's going to be down to personal taste and wetness and how you like it and etc, etc, etc. Do I feel like that is the most luxurious nib I've ever used? No, I don't. That said, absolutely fine. I could do with it a bit wetter, but it's absolutely fine. It's very smooth and functional and works well. That's kind of what you get with Montblanc. Smooth, functional, works well, right? Pilot nibs, in my experience, right? So generally, I mean, look, this one's a medium. This is a Japanese fine, so they're going to be different as well. Now, I wetted this up a little bit, but other than that, I haven't touched it for, you know, smoothing out or anything like that. So Pilot nibs in general, very smooth. What I do notice is there is a touch of kind of drag-like feedback, and I mean that in a good way. I don't mean, you know, but just a touch. It just gives you that little bit of sensation on the paper. So, hard to explain. It's good for a talking video, isn't it? Can't explain it. It's just good, isn't it? That little bit of drag, just like that. I don't want to cliche it with, like you lets you know you're writing with a fountain pen. Just gives you that bit of feel on the page, that bit of tactile. So, I don't know, if you're like me, and sometimes worry about the consistency rather than neatness of handwriting. That's my bugbear. My handwriting's neat or not, it's whatever, I don't care. But it's the consistency which I wind myself up with. I find this helps because it's just that little tiny bit of grip on the paper, but without being too feedbacky. It's nice, just a little tiny bit of drag. I hope that wasn't too convoluted for you. But I have an 845, which has a medium, and as you saw, an 823, which has a broad. They all have that similar property. Just very smooth, just a little bit of drag that lets you know you are writing on paper, and you kind of, it feels the texture out for you. It's the best I can do with an explanation there. Very nice. Obviously, there's going to be differences because I've got medium, I've got Japanese fine, which is Western extra fine-ish. And then in the platinum, I've got a broad. Now, platinum tend to have a bit more feedback. This nib's sublime. So obviously it's a broad, it's going to be a bit wetter, right? Very smooth and has feedback, but a different sort of feedback again. So I would describe it as soft pencil-like feedback. So not quite the kind of smooth yet drag. I wouldn't say there's drag. It's like you're writing with a soft pencil. Not like a sharp pointed pencil, one you've been writing with for a few days, you know. Very, very nice, especially in that broad. Just it glides over the page, but with that soft pencil feedback, it's really, really nice. So Platinum do kind of do that feedback by design for most of their nibs. And I've tried a few different Platinum nibs, and they're all very, very nice, like with different degrees of that feedback, depending on whether it's fine, medium, broad, etc. So for nib options, I was going to say for the President, again, if it's out of production, I'm not sure, but I think it's like extra fine, medium, broad. Touched on the Montblanc options. You might be able to get extra speciality options, but just as the standard that was offered on the Montblanc website for that price was, what did I say? Fine, medium, broad, double broad, oblique medium, and oblique broad. For the 743, you have a multitude of options. I haven't written them all down, but from the top of my head, you can have extra fine, fine medium, medium, broad, double broad, signature, coarse, FA, posting, Waverley, and potentially, oh, sorry, soft fine, soft medium, soft fine medium, I believe. If I'm out with any of them, I do apologise. I'm doing that off the top of my head. But you get the picture. There's, I don't know, 15, 18, not sure. A lot of nib options you could have with a 743, and they all come at the same price. Obviously, depending on where you're going to get that from, that could be worth it. But yeah, I really do like, more than I thought I would, actually, the feedback on the President. I think it's fantastic. And I mean, this broad's lovely, just a little touch of line variation, just ever so slightly stubby, but not sharp around the edges or anything like that. It's gorgeous. But just talking feedback, it's so it's not like Sailor feedback. I find I don't get on with Sailor feedback. I find it too feedbacky, but that is personal taste. People love Sailor feedback, and I get that. It's very characteristic to them, as is this, but just in different ways. I prefer the softer feedback, that kind of soft pencil-like feedback. I find the Sailors too feedbacky. I've had 3 Sailors, I think, and sold them all. Not go. I've just decided now, I think, that I'm not a Sailor person. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this. And this is okay. And that's pretty much it, I think. I think just a couple of bits. I mean, so also on the President, I find the section perhaps a little bit short for me. And then just with that extra bit, I have to be careful how I hold that. There's enough room, but hang on. Whee! There's enough room there, but I wouldn't mind that being a little bit longer just for my hand. But it's just something to point out. You get a bit more section. It might not look like a lot, but you get a bit more section, I think, on the Pilot. And they're smoother as well. If you wanted to hold back up here, you're all good. You got that little flare there. Very comfortable. I find this extremely comfortable pen. And the Montblanc, similar. You got a bit more length. I wouldn't mind still a little bit more length. Hey, but yeah, look, they're all much for a muchness. But for section wise there. So look, in summary, if you wanted a gold nibbed 146 sized, should we say, we'll use this as the benchmark. Mid-sized 146 size, gold nibbed. Look, there's others out there. This is what I have. What do I think? Well, I think certainly if you're buying new, there's no way I'd be going for that. If I was buying new in the UK, I probably wouldn't be going for this either. Which does present a problem if this is out of production, which makes this video a bit annoying. But you get this for the 200-ish pound mark, like from Japan or whatever. This one all day. I absolutely love this pen. I bought this late night eBay. It's my first 743. I absolutely love it. I use it nearly daily, and for me, that's, you know, it's just an extremely comfortable everyday size in my hand. If I'm doing extended sessions, I absolutely love it. I love the nib. I'm drifting finer nibs, but that's an aside. But I love the nib on this particular one. But it's just really comfortable in my hand. My hand doesn't get stiff, annoyed, etc. It just fits. That said, for value, if you pick one of these up, a Platinum President, 100, even if you're paying up to like 140, if we're going to say the gold nib, 100 quid, right? The rest of the pen, you know. Find one of these at the right price, and if you like that platinum nib feedback, that's excellent. And look, I know this is in green, but generally speaking, they're in black. So if you want that cigar-shaped, mid-size, elegance, overall, I'm probably going there at the right price. That's in my mind, this is a bargain. So if you can find one at the prices I mentioned, go for it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I realised this was very rambly and not always to the point, but that's me, isn't it? Maybe this was vaguely useful to some people. Most people would have checked out a long time ago. This is longer than even one of my shorter rambly videos. Obviously, there are non-gold nibbed alternatives as well. I could mention some of these, but I thought I'd just keep it to this for now. If you want me to do a comparison, which will involve clones, which are available at the same size, let me know. If you're still here, well, that's awfully nice of you. Cheers very much. Have a lovely day. Take it easy. Bye.